If you are a fan of Marilyn Monroe, then you know on June 1st, her 100th birthday celebration is happening. It is Marilyn Mania. There are so many places to go and things to see. There is an auction happening. I'm going to touch on the auction first because if you are bidding on any Marilyn Monroe beauty-related items, you're going to want to watch this video. Because Marilyn Monroe's items go for such an absurd amount of money, I think you really have to be sure of what you're bidding on. So we'll start there. I'll tell you the places to go, but then I'm going to show you my personal collection of actual Marilyn Monroe makeup items, why I bought them, how much I paid for them, the proof behind the objects, and a little bit of gossip on that too, because there are bidding wars. It just so happens that the person I was bidding against paid around $65,000 for one of these lipsticks. So there are actually two auctions happening. So we're going to go to Julian's first. This is the 100 Years of Marilyn. And actually the second object is a 1962 lip pomade by Max Factor. It is the color 722. And if you read the caption, it talks about her stand-in, Evelyn Moriarty, and that Marilyn had given her this item to use in her final film, Something's Got to Give. She wanted her to wear the same exact lipstick that she was wearing. Now, first off, you may say, how can we confirm this story? I knew about this years ago, before this ever came to auction. This color 722 was on the Max Factor color television chart. Marilyn had many 722 lipsticks come up for auction. This is 100% valid. And actually, I own a 722 Max Factor lip pomade. Now, I actually found this particular one on eBay, and for me, one part is collecting Marilyn's actual makeup, her makeup and her glamour. It completely changed my life. It's the reason I became a makeup artist. I am such a huge fan of Marilyn Monroe, so owning her items is so important to me. But another thing that's super important is having an actual product that I can use, that I know that she wore. And I know, because of her makeup artist, Whitey Snyder said she liked pink and coral lip colors. This was in 1960. This is 1962. And it is a coral color. And if you notice Marilyn in Something's Got to Give, she is wearing a color that looks just like this. She's in her 60s chic Marilyn mode. The hair is the pillowcase white. The early 1960s, you are seeing a softer lip and a lot more eye makeup. And I do want to try on this color right now so you can see it, because I did find a dupe. Just like Marilyn, I'm going to use a lip brush to apply this. It is such a bright 1960s color. How insanely gorgeous is this lip color? And you really can't find lip products like this today. It's such a unique tone. Now, I do think Marilyn probably would have blotted this with a tissue, because she talked about this in interviews, and this was very common in the 50s and 60s. You would blot your lipstick after, which will soften it quite a bit, as you can see. But this is the Something's Got to Give, at least one of the lipsticks that she used in her final film. For the closest dupe I could find, the Revlon Blase Apricot. I think I'll put it on half so you can see side by side. It is, like I said, not exact, but I do think that this color actually existed in the 1960s as well. See, it's very similar. Okay, let's move on to the next lipstick. Okay, this is about the fourth object at Julian's auction. This is the 1950s lipstick by Elizabeth Arden. The color is Pink Spark. Now, what I noticed is that this lipstick looks very different than the lipstick I saw a few years back at auction. So I have a video here of when I saw the Pink Spark lipstick, and you can see what the top of the lipstick looks like. And now if we compare it to the photo and the original photo that Julian's actually put in their book for the auction, you can see that someone either used this or dropped it. Something has changed. It went for over $10,000 at auction last time. So someone is going to pay a lot of money for this, and they need to know that this lipstick may have been used by someone else after Marilyn. So I would say buyer beware. But I also, being the maniac that I am and trying to find actual Marilyn Monroe products, I have an Elizabeth Arden Pink Spark lipstick. So I figured if you at least want to see what it looks like, I can try it on now. The only problem is that this does not roll up. A lot of lipsticks back then don't roll up if they're in this metal container. Unfortunately, they kind of get stuck or rusted inside. So I'm just gonna have to dip a brush in at the top. But let's see what Elizabeth Arden Pink Spark actually looks like. I guess technically if you pay like 10 grand for a Marilyn Monroe item, you can do what you want with it. But the issue is I mean, for me, I would never touch the items. Like, it feels blasphemous or something. Like, you know, we want to keep it in pristine condition as she used it and hopefully display it in a museum for the public to enjoy, the fans who love Marilyn Monroe. So if someone did use it, tisk tisk.
Did you like it?
No.
And here's the color Pink Spark by Elizabeth Arden. You know, it's really cute. This particular container, when you would roll it up, it would have a little mirror inside of it. So not the world's best mirror, but you could just put your lipstick on right from there. You know, you don't often see Marilyn in pink lipstick, but I do have this photo here where she's with Arthur Miller, and the lipstick does sort of look in this tone. I forgot to look for a dupe, but if I find one, I will put it up on the screen here. Okay, let's go on to the next item. So we have a mascara by Helena Rubinstein, and this would have been in Marilyn Monroe's art supplies. Right next to it is a 1950s eyeliner pencil by Elizabeth Arden. It's in the color dark brown. Somebody out there was bidding in an auction and bought her art supplies, not knowing that her makeup was inside of this, which you can see in these pictures. And whoever bought it ended up selling these pieces one by one to the collectors. So you see a lot of these come up. They definitely belong to Marilyn, but just imagine whoever bid on that art supplies, I mean, must have made a fortune. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is the 1952 Rouge by House of Westmore. Now this product I find questionable. Okay, there's a letter from Provenance from the David Gainsborough Roberts, who was a very well-known collector. He had a ton of her dresses and he sold a lot of these at auction many years ago. One thing I will make pretty clear is that Marilyn Monroe was never really known for wearing a lot of blush on the cheeks. She did wear it, but it was very soft. But what bothers me is if you go in and you see this picture here, they're circling an object and saying, this might be the product. It might be the Westmore Rouge. You cannot see what is in this product. It's a blur. It's a round little compact. Most makeup is a round little compact if it's not a lipstick or a tube. So I find it a little bit disingenuous, I guess is the way I would put it, because someone might look at that and think that's the actual object in that picture, but we just can't prove it. You would need to see a high definition version of that picture. It was taken by Milton Green, the photographer, but I really do question if it is this. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. So just whoever's bidding on this, not so sure on this one. It has $3,500 bid already, so somebody wants it. There's so many incredible photos at this auction. There's a picture of her using a lipstick in the 1940s. There's a face chart, which I'll touch on that in another video because I do understand what those codes mean. So let's go to the second auction and look at heritage auctions. There's a few beauty items here. So there's a violet eyeshadow by Revlon. Now this is another piece that would have been in the art supplies. There's actually two of these Revlon eyeshadows in violet that have been sold. The first one was sold as a separate piece a few years back, and I saw this in person. And this one though would have been sold from the art supplies, so we never actually saw it opened. You just see it kind of laying in there. She very much did like a violet eyeshadow because I've seen a few different versions. There's like a mauve violet. There's a violet from Lily Dash. You can see in these pictures, she kind of has this violet soft eyeshadow on the outer corners of the eyes. So this was definitely owned by Marilyn. It's hard to tell like if that top part was used by her. If you're bidding on that item, good luck. It definitely belonged to Marilyn. Now, this eyeliner pencil from Elizabeth Arden, this is probably the most special piece out of everything because this has a picture to go along with it. This is a photograph taken by Manfred Kreiner, a photographer, and this was, I think, during the Some Like It Hot tour. Maybe it was 1959, but you can see her. That art supplies bag is laying on the table, so all those eyeliners. She's putting on mascara, and you can see that exact pencil to the right side. And in this photo, it almost seems like she's actually holding that exact pencil. Now, a few of these did sell. Again, they were in her art supplies. You can see one without a cap, one with a cap. But anyway, what we do know, one, she used it, one, she owned it, and it's in a picture. If there's anything you are going to bid on, you want it to have a picture, have proof, have Marilyn using it in the picture. So I think that this one would be the one that I would go for, but I'm not actually bidding in this auction, so good luck. So there are a couple skincare products from Erna Laszlo. We know that Marilyn used Erna Laszlo. She talks about it. There's a whole system that was sent to her. I won't get too into that now. I will save that for a Marilyn beauty tips video. So I think that is everything for auction.
I almost forgot to say the most important thing. There is a reason why it is so crucial that you do your research when you are bidding on these items, not just because they go for so much money, but there was a fake lipstick that sold at auction back in 2007. This is a Coty Vibrant lipstick. And first off, the packaging tells me that this is from 1946. I don't know why anybody would have this from 1946 when she passed in 1962. She was still Norma Jean then. Also, it came from the Rosenstein estate. It turns out that this guy was a fraudulent character. He put up a ton of fake Marilyn items, and unfortunately, some poor soul bid on this item and paid over $4,000 for it. So again, it is crucial to try to find these objects either in pictures or provenance. There has to be more proof and evidence after all of these decades and all of these auctions have gone by.
Now, where are you going to go? What are you going to see to celebrate Marilyn's 100th birthday? A pilgrimage to Marilyn, if you will. The very first place that I would go, if you don't already live in LA, get your tickets and get out to the Academy Museum. This goes on from June 1st for a year, so you have time. In this exhibit at the Academy Museum, you are going to see some of the most rare Marilyn Monroe dresses that exist. One, her pink dress from Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend number. Probably one of the most historic dresses that ever appeared in a movie. I don't think it's been seen since the 1980s, so this will be something that most people have never witnessed in person. This is so huge. Now, I should say that I know the collector that owns all of these items. I actually got to go to his house and see everything in person years ago. We've become really good friends. He is a biochemist genius who has created some of the most innovative skincare in the world, and he's made it his goal to collect as many dresses and keep them in pristine condition. So they will be on exhibit. This is probably going to be the best Marilyn Monroe exhibit that has ever happened. I mean, there are so many amazing rare dresses, not just Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, but there's Some Like It Hot, Bus Stop. I think the red dress from Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Oh my God, it's going to be so good. He also has makeup. He has makeup cases. He has shoes. When I go, I can bring you guys along with me to see this exhibit, but it is just going to be incredible. Now, the next place that you can go, because if you're in LA, there are many places to see. Of course, you're going to want to go to Grauman's Chinese Theater and put your hands and your feet in the footprints and handprints of Marilyn Monroe in the cement, if you haven't already done that. I've done that many times. So another very dear friend of mine, Scott Fortner, who owns MarilynMonroeCollection.com. He's another huge collector of Marilyn. I'm sure most of the fans know who he is. He is such an amazing person who just loves Marilyn and wants to really celebrate who she was. He sent me this link to the Marilyn Remembered fan club. So if you check that link, you can find out a lot of other things going on with the fan clubs, and there will be talks, there will be gatherings. You could get together and just talk about your love for Marilyn. He also does this series called In Her Shoes. So even if you can't go to LA, maybe you're in other parts of the world, mainly in New York. There were a lot of spaces that Marilyn went to in New York. So he does a series called In Her Shoes, and he just shows exactly where she was, and then he's like in the photo of modern day times, and then you can go visit those same spots. So have your Marilyn pilgrimage all over the world. You also have Ripley's Believe It or Not if you want to see her makeup case, the dress, the happy birthday dress, although I'm kind of hoping that will be in the Academy Museum as well, but we'll see. There's also the Max Factor Museum, which I go because I love to see obviously all of the makeup and the colorful rooms, because they have the rooms that are according to your hair colors, which Max Factor was known for starting that whole color harmony thing. There, they do have some of Marilyn Monroe's actual worn clothing. I think they have a makeup case, but I don't think any of the makeup that is there actually belonged to Marilyn. A lot of people sort of make that mistake when they go, oh my God, look at all Marilyn's makeup. And I think the way that they put the sign up, they make it seem like it would belong to her, but it's just a bunch of Max Factor makeup. But still, there's a lot of Marilyn Monroe items there, and it's just a really cool place to see. The one place that most people don't know about is the Academy Museum has a library. It's called the Margaret Herrick Library. And if you go there, you can actually listen to tapes by Anthony Summers of people he interviewed about Marilyn when he was doing his first book. This is like in the 1980s. So he talks to George Masters, who did Marilyn's hair and makeup in the 60s. He talks to her hairstylist, Gladys. He talks to the makeup artist, Whitey Snyder, of course, who was Marilyn's makeup artist for most of her career. He talks to even the body makeup artists. Like, he talked to everybody. Now, first off, you got to make an appointment if you're going to go there, if you want to listen to these tapes. It's a little tricky. They're very hard to hear, but here's the gossip. So when he was talking to George Masters, George used to do Marilyn's hair towards the end, so she had that very particular, like in these photos here when she was at the Golden Globes, he did her hair and makeup. Now Marilyn is definitely wearing like a half wig in these photos. And George talks about this wig also being used on Doris Day. If you know, Something's Got to Give in 1962 was Marilyn's last film that was never fully finished. Obviously, she passed during the filming. And so they recreated the film with Doris Day called Move Over, Darling. And if you watch this film knowing this information, you can see Marilyn's wigs.
I meant to tell you about that.
I thought that is so crazy that George also worked with Doris Day and worked with Marilyn and used her wigs on kind of the same film.
My, that's strange.
The other piece of gossip is that Whitey Snyder really did not like George Masters. He talks about him actually as in, he didn't think he did that much with Marilyn. He was like, oh, he didn't do the Burt Stearns shoot. I did the Burt Stearns shoot. But actually there were 2 Burt Stearns shoots. And Marilyn did one where she was kind of like half naked in most of them. That was the George Masters. And then the other shoot was for Vogue magazine. They were both for Vogue, but one had no clothes, one had clothing. And it seems that Whitey Snyder would have done the one with the clothing. So I think maybe he just didn't know about it, or I don't know. He didn't seem to like George Masters. It was all very interesting. So if you get a chance, not only can you hear those tapes, and it's not just tapes with like the makeup and hair people. I mean, he interviewed everybody. You only have so much time you can be in the library, so there's only so much you can hear, but it's really fascinating stuff. And then also while you're there, first off, I just have to say, I went to visit the Margaret Herrick Library, and this crew of people right here was so kind to me. They showed me like it was the Cowardly Lion. They have the hair, the wig from the Cowardly Lion. They showed me that. They showed me like stuff from Clay Campbell's. Oh my God, this makeup artist Clay Campbell, he put his whole entire archive, he gave it basically to the Academy, which went to the library. So you can see this face chart of Marilyn Monroe is there amongst many other face charts of other celebrities and the products that they would use on them. And in this picture of Marilyn, Clay Campbell was doing her makeup here. He also did Rita Hayworth's makeup, like literally in the same studio, as you can see. And behind them, there is a board full of lipsticks. This is at the Margaret Herrick Library. They showed me this. I gasped, and then I had to go run and catch my Uber. It was the last thing I saw. I could not believe they had this there. But this one's down in hiding, so I don't think the rest of the public can see it. But you can see some of his lipstick prints on napkins. Marlene Dietrich, Rita Hayworth. There's so many stars. They're all like marked, I think Mae West. It's just incredible. They have so many books, so much you can see. So definitely go to the Margaret Herrick Library if you are in LA. So that is it for the places to go and things to see. But now we have another place to go because I don't keep Marilyn's personal items here. I'm going to show you these items up close and some pictures to go with them and more gossip.
So I went to my office and filmed some B-roll of a lot of the Marilyn Monroe items, but I did bring them back with me to show you. And before I get into all the prices and how much I paid for these, because it is kind of absurd, just know that I was a makeup artist for many years. I actually quit in 2024 to focus on social media, but that is how I made money and I was successful, and I've basically spent it all on vintage makeup. Let's get into it. So of course, when you think of Marilyn Monroe, there are 3 very strong characteristics that come to mind: the blonde hair, the red lips, and her beauty mark. So why did I pay $3,750 for this eyeliner? Because in this book by photographer Milton Green, I found this photo, and it's showing her using the eyeliner pencil to create her iconic beauty mark. In my opinion, $3,750 is a steal for one of the most important beauty items in beauty history, the beauty mark pencil. And even if you see the top of the eyeliner, it's flat, as if you just take the pencil and you twist, and that's how you would create the beauty mark. It's just mind-blowing. So this one I find especially important in my collection. Iconic. And now for her lashes, I paid $8,960. And these lashes are the first item I ever purchased that belonged to Marilyn. Now, when you look at these lashes, they are unused, and you would have to trim and feather lashes before you would use them. Back in the day, they didn't come ready-made. So these would have been unused. There is a receipt from Saks Fifth Avenue to George Masters, who sold her these lashes. What's more interesting, in this box is another pair of lashes, but these ones are cut into halves. And if you look at a Burt Stern photograph where George Masters did the makeup, you can see this little half lash on the end. He also talks about it in his book, where he says her lashes were a pain in the neck because back then they weren't ready-made. You had to trim them, and she liked them a particular way. So he talks about these lashes, and it's so crazy because the most important reason why I bought these is because inside you can see a blonde hair. That's exactly why I'm not opening these right here and now, because I don't want that little hair to blow away in the wind. This is still my favorite Marilyn book of all times, The Metamorphosis of Marilyn Monroe. And in this particular picture, you can see how the lashes used to look in the 1950s. She would do a 3/4 lash. They were extremely long. But again, if we go back to that Burt Stern photograph from the Burt Stern book, actually, you can see how there are these half lashes. And she really changed her look as she got into the 1960s. Okay, let's go on to the next item. This is a Rouge Brunette color by Doran, and this was her blush. Now, technically, I did not have any pictures to prove that this belonged to her. It did come from the Lee Strasberg estate. It was shown in her makeup box at Christie's, as you can see in this picture. But what I loved about this was the fact that it is completely covered with her makeup, her lipstick, her eyeliner, and it is really only lightly used. And when you look at pictures of Marilyn, you don't necessarily think of blush. She always wore some, but it was very soft. And this color is indeed an extremely soft color. It's very natural. And how much did I pay for her blush? $8,750. And I didn't even have a picture back then. But yesterday, I went on Getty Images, and you can see here when you zoom in my opinion, it looks like the blush is laying upside down. If you really look into that picture, you can see this sort of circular motion. You can see even that it's like two pieces. So I think I can verify this blush in this picture, along with the lipstick, but we'll get to that. I did manage to find, after years of searching to get the exact color blush so we can try it on and see what it looked like. As you can see in this bag, I have 4 Rouge Brunettes from Doran. However, they all have different packaging except for this one, which is the exact same packaging. So we're gonna try it on. It is very well used. So this is probably, I don't know, maybe 1950s, 1960s. So it's kind of gross, but I don't care. I gotta see what the color looks like. You see, it's such a soft color. Try to put a little bit heavier application. Look at that. I'm telling you, if you look at pictures of her, I'll go back to the Metamorphosis book, and you can see this color blush throughout most of her career, to be honest. So actually, Whitey Snyder, her makeup artist, said he would just use her rouge to sort of break the bones a bit, so they kind of contoured with the blush. Let's go on to her lipstick. Now, where are you? Lipstick. I've already done a very long deep dive on Marilyn Monroe's lipstick, the Max Factor 722. Of course, it is the color orange. I think it's my second video I ever did, probably the highest viewed video on my channel. So of course, watch that. But let me tell you that I did pay.
I realize that all I really want is
Lipstick. I paid $15,000. Oh! I can't believe I paid that much more. I paid $15,625. So 4 of these lipsticks actually sold at auction, the Max Factor 722, and there were 2 that were used and 2 that were unused. And of course, I bought one that was used. And actually in that same photo, you can see her rouge. I really do believe that this exact lipstick is sitting on the table because you can see that indentation in the top. Like, it looks like the exact same product. As far as color harmony, she was a blonde, so wearing a really intense red lipstick could be a bit harsh, and orange lipstick showed up as a soft red in the movies and in the photos. So yes, this is an orange lipstick. The very final item that I would not leave the auction without is her lip gloss. And I can prove that she used this because I can see her using it in this picture. If you look at the object in the mirror that she's holding, you can see that there is a light and a dark side, just like this. Of course, it's the exact same shape of container, and she's actually dipping her finger in it and dabbing it on the lips as a last step. I mean, this is a little bit crazy, but I mean, that is basically her fingerprint inside of this lip gloss. And how much did I pay for the lip gloss? $12,500. But I don't think anybody knew that it was actually in a picture with her using the product. And I did mention there was a bidding war on one lipstick that I did not win. And this lipstick did sell for $65,000. Now, let me tell you, this is the one product that I wanted, the only other product I ever wanted that belonged to Marilyn. And that is because it says pink orange like Miss I. And Miss I was in no doubt in my mind Marie Irvine, who was Marilyn Monroe's makeup artist, her East Coast makeup artist. I did a deep dive on Marie Irvine. I shared some videos. I actually got to speak to her, and she was 99 when I talked to her. I sent an email. We were going to do a final video. She passed away a week later. So I really wanted that lipstick to do a final homage to Marie Irvine, but the person I was bidding against, there's only one reason why that lipstick went for such an outrageous amount. Imagine two makeup artists who love beauty history, who also do social media. It was Lisa Eldridge. I can laugh now because me and Lisa talked about it, but like if we knew we were bidding against each other, we could have talked about it and it like backed off. Like I'm so happy if anybody else besides me has it. It is Lisa. And the amazing thing is she did a video on this lipstick, deep diving about the color, about Marie Irvine, and it was such a fabulous video. I will link that below. I freaking adore Lisa, so I'm really happy she had the lipstick, and it did save me some money because I didn't want to spend my life savings on one lipstick. I think that concludes the video. Let me know where you guys end up. Are you going to the Academy Museum? Oh, there's also in Palm Springs, there's a look-alike contest on June 1st. Oh my God, I would love to see that. There's so many things to do if you want to celebrate Marilyn's 100th birthday. Now, in another video, I want to do a beauty techniques. I want to share her beauty tips that she talks about, that her makeup artists talk about, and use obviously not her products, but any products I can that I have found the exact same brand and color of. So not sure when that will be, but that is on the horizon. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.